Manic, pertaining to or affected by excessive excitement or enthusiasm, praise.
This is Manic Mindset. It's time for another Manic episode with Haley and Lynn. Join us each week as we dive down the rabbit hole of navigating life while being hyper-focused on success. Our Manic moments are where some of our best ideas come from. We not only embrace the chaos, we thrive in it. Good.
Welcome back. This week on Manic Mindset, we're going to talk about the table.
The elusive table.
The seat at the table. And I think that there's a whole lot of different ways to look at this table. There's a lot of different tables. There's a friendship table. There's a business table. There's a success table. There's just a lot of different tables. And we're going to kind of talk about all of them. I love this because sometimes I'm like, what freaking table are these people talking about? There is no table.
Some of these people out here clawing their way to the table. I'm like, where's what table?
What table
Are you
is
talking
that?
about my table? What's happening?
Yeah. So we're going to dive right into the table. And I'm going to probably dive in more on the success table. You're going to dive in a little bit more on the friendship table. And then we're going to just talk back and forth about it. So if you have any thoughts on the table, we'd love to hear about them.
Or if you have a table we haven't thought of, I want to know about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. One of the thoughts that I had on this is I don't want a seat at the table. I want to create this table and then invite people
Build
to
that
sit
shit
at
from
it.
scratch.
I want to build it from the bottom up. And the reason being is a lot of tables in the world that I live in are filled full of men. And it is proven that when you are invited to those tables, a lot of times the women who are invited get paid less to do 10% more work. And I don't like that.
No.
I want to be paid to sit at that table because you value who I am.
Or women are invited to that table so that the table looks a certain way or
Ew.
gets dressed a certain way, and it's a no.
And people see that. People understand that. Why
Yeah.
there is 2 or 3 minorities sitting at that table.
Yeah, if people don't think that those people are fully aware, like I'm aware when I'm falsely invited to a table for the wrong reasons.
100%. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that either. So that was one of my thoughts was, I want to be the person that creates the table.
But wait, I have a thought on we just talked about like the falsely invited to the table. Guess what though? You made a mistake because if I have a seat at the table, I get a voice and I'm going to use it.
Yeah.
And to the other aspect of that, I'm either going to use it and it's going to go my way, or if I feel like my voice is constantly being silenced, I'm not at the right table and I will remove myself.
Yes.
Wholeheartedly.
Yes. 100%. I feel like you have to be able to recognize that. And
Joke's on you because I'm going to talk.
Right. Right. When you get a seat at the table, make sure you aren't being used for that seat. That is one of the biggest things that I feel like is important. That whatever table you're sitting at, is it helping you develop and helping you grow? Or is it putting you in a stagnant place to where people are using your mind and your skills to the fullest, but you aren't gaining anything from that table?
You gotta
I'm
know
not
the
saying you're
intentions.
using that table, and I don't want you to feel like you need to sit at that table in a way that makes you feel like you need to use other people.
But it should be good for everybody. It should be a collaborative table.
100%.
And if everyone's taking your ideas and your words and your voice and you don't get to collab on any of that, then that's not the table.
Right. The table should make you want to develop and grow and should instill some kind of entrepreneurship that maybe you haven't reached yet, some kind of goal. It should be forward thinking for you. You shouldn't feel like you kind of just left there and you're like, I already do all that. I know all that. And I know that sounds awful. And I always try to go into things with there's going to be something that I'm going to learn from this. But recently, the company that we work for, they did a free online class. I think it was for Canva or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get on there because I could really use some more development of it. And I got on there and I was like, no, no, no. What is she teaching these people right now?
Yeah.
And I felt really bad about it because she's like world renowned and everything. And I'm like, she's basically telling them to do the exact opposite of what I would want someone to tell me to do.
Yeah.
Template. Use all these templates and just keep using templates. And I'm like, ugh, do not do that.
Yeah.
And the things that were being taught, I was just kind of like,
That's not using the tools at your table to the best of their potential at all.
absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so I was kind of like, ooh, this just set us all back by a lot. And I know that sounds awful saying this, but it literally set back a lot of people on that call back by a lot, like months, because you're teaching them things that were taught 2 years ago. And now the thinking and the forward thought is so beyond that you've just set back 100 people on that call by doing that.
You're nowhere near what the algorithm currently is at, by the way.
At all. At all. And so I was I was just kind of like, I felt a little defeated because while we have worked so hard to be forward thinking and the new and continue to trend in a way that the world is trending, right? Because it's rapidly trending quickly. I felt like, again, we just set back like by years.
Yeah.
By doing that.
Well, not for nothing. And also, if you look at it on the like day to day, like our very internal kind of feeling on it, that kind of undermines all the classes we've been teaching where we're telling you not to do those things. So it's frustrating to have like somebody come in and you're like, yes, finally, we're preaching to the choir. Let's go. I'm here for it. Maybe I'll learn something new today. And then it's like, what? What? Like, there have definitely been things and times and places in business and in life where we go and we're very busy and we're excited and we're pumped up to get there. And then we will look at each other at some point and literally be like, this is a complete waste of our time. We've been somewhere where someone's got up and walked out. And it was funny because she's my hero.
Hilarious.
But I asked her about it later and she's like, yeah, I don't have time for that. I do not have time for that. But you know what?
She did text me and be like, can you get my coffee cup?
Yeah, I left it there. Sorry. But I can't remember if I read it or it was a TikTok, something. I had seen something and they were talking about how they are very intentional with their time and they don't waste it. Even if they've paid for it, if they go to a movie and it sucks, they get up and they walk out. Why are you going to give that time that it doesn't deserve? And I feel like I'm slowly getting to that. Like I've gotten that way with like, we went to dinner the other night. We all saw the Barbie movie and stuff, ordered a drink sucked. And like a year ago, I'd be like, I pay for that drink, I'm going to drink it. Instead, I was like, why would I make myself uncomfortable for 2 hours and drink that awful drink and go sit in a movie and be uncomfortable? Like, I'm just not going to drink it. I wasted like $13. Sucks, but who cares?
Right.
It didn't ruin the rest of my night.
No.
Like, so you have to be aware of what's going on and it's okay to get up and walk out. You don't have to be rude or nasty about it. She was like, I have an appointment. Thank you. Thanks for the time. Gotta go.
Well, and one of the episode before this that we talked about was vision. And so I like to visualize what my table looks like and who's sitting at my table. And I like to do that in my personal life and in my business life. The two, sometimes there's the same people at both tables, but sometimes there's different at each table, right? And I really like to envision this because I believe that mental health takes a big play in the way that I move. And I have a lot of thoughts all the time that sometimes keep me awake. And so what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to sit at a table in my personal life that makes me have thoughts and question who I'm around and the way that I move, because those thoughts will entangle with my success and will stop and they will limit my success because of it. So what I don't do is I don't sit at a table where when I get up, those people are talking about me. And I know people say that all the time, but I do not. And I will call you out on it in a heartbeat. And you know me. I mean, you're my best friend. Will I do that to somebody?
Yeah, it's been uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
She doesn't like to give a heads up. Like if I'm feeling froggy, I'll send a text or we get in the car on the way there, I'm like, it's about to go down. I'm just letting you know right now, this is what's happening today. And you're like, oh shit. Haley, don't give that.
Nah.
Haley be at the table and you're like, you kind of maybe have a sense of like, I can't wait to hear how we talk about this in the car after the fact and pick her brain on it. But you don't make it that far because she'll be like, actually, and I'm like, oh no.
Actually,
Let me just take my hoops out real quick. I wasn't ready.
right. I will call somebody out on their bullshit really quick. And I live by that. And I want to live by that. And the reason being is I want total transparency. You know what you're getting when I walk in the room. You know who I am. You don't have to question my loyalty. Literally, we did an exercise in that leadership class that I'm talking about. And it's so funny. There's like 100 words that are like your core value. And by the end of it, you figure out what your core value is. And I knew mine the minute I looked at that sheet. I knew it. So it's funny because at the end of it, obviously, it was my core value. And I came home and I asked you and you're like, duh, loyalty.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she knew it. So then I asked your husband. He's like, loyalty. I was like, oh, holy crap. I asked my husband. I asked my mother-in-law, all unprompted, and all of them guessed the same exact one. And I was like, holy moly, is it really that? Like, do you really know that about me? Is it really that?
Isn't that
like,
a funny thing? Like, sometimes you do something like that, and I never know how I feel about it. Like, obviously, it's really cool and really nice that my people know me like that, right? And that I'm projecting that into the universe, that's so strong for me that everyone around me picks up on it. But at the same time, sometimes I don't know if it's annoying or like hurt my feelings. I'm like, am I that like predictable or what? Just like, yep, what?
Yeah. And there's a danger to that. There's a danger to being so loyal to
a
people,
fault, yeah.
to a fault, right? But it all goes back to your table. What does your table look like? My table looks like a table full of people who are forward thinking, encouraging, have vision, have dreams, have goals. Their bar is rising all the time. They are encouraging. They might not have the same vision that I have, but they believe in a vision. They believe in helping other people. They believe in being encouraging. They believe that when I sit at that table and I look pretty in a dress, they're not going to give me my moment to feel special or pretty. They believe that they should be like, girl, you look so good, right? Or we are so proud of you. Wow, I seen what you did with that investment. That was really cool, right? They're not going, did you see her in that dress?
Yeah.
Can you believe that they did that? You know, the jealousy, I don't do. I don't do it because I am not like that with my friends.
It's okay to debate. It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have healthy back and forth. It's the icky, yucky stuff that's mean. That's mean-hearted and mean-spirited. That shit doesn't need to be at your table. And if that's at your table, reevaluate the shit out of your table.
Absolutely. I will cut someone from my table in a freaking heartbeat.
And sometimes some people need to remember that they only have a seat at that table because somebody else got up, okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So be fucking grateful, be humble, know where you stand, be helpful, be kind. Like, stop that shit.
Well, if your table is busy talking about other people, you're sitting at the wrong table. You can't on one hand say you want to be successful, an entrepreneur, be leveling up, be this freaking boss ass bitch, and then be talking about somebody else. It's disgusting behavior. Stop doing it.
It's a really hard thing as a woman you hit a certain age where you come to the really, I think it's sad, realization that women don't support women. And it's really hard. And there's a lot of masking in that, right? Like, I wholeheartedly hashtag women support women. I do it. I believe it. I say it. I'm here for it. If you're using that hashtag and you're saying that and you're doing that, but behind closed doors or behind your people's back or when you turn around from your table, you're knocking all that shit down, you don't get it. And there's some people that will never get it. And that's really hard to learn that.
So many people that ask us like, oh, who are you talking about on your podcast? First of all, if you feel like I'm talking to you or talking about you on this podcast, if the shoe fits, baby, wear it.
Yeah.
Wear that shoe. Never once have I ever came on here and go, yep, this episode is directed towards this person.
Yeah. In general, it's very general.
If you are so concerned about what I think and how I'm moving, and you think this episode is about you, first of all, it's not. Second of all, if you feel like it is, it probably is.
And not for nothing, if I feel some type of way and I have somebody in mind when I'm talking about these things.
I've probably already addressed it with you.
Yeah, this ain't the first time you heard about it, honey.
No.
So you got a problem. You already know we have a problem.
Right.
And if you hear this and I haven't told you we had a problem, you need to look within.
Yeah.
Because it ain't coming from me. Because when I have a problem, you know I have a problem. So if you're internalizing some shit, that's on you.
That's totally on you. That's not on me, because 100% if I feel a certain kind of way, I always tell that
That
person.
is my favorite thing when you have adult friendships, and especially when you have new ones that you're navigating, and someone's like, hey, like sends a text, do we have a problem? I just can't help but laugh. Baby girl, you would know.
Right.
It would be clear, written in the sky, we have a problem because I'm knocking on your door.
Right, 100%.
Like, you will know, and you'll know when I'm mad.
And I think that goes along with make sure you don't pull a chair up for your enemy. Mm-hmm. When you are creating your own table and what it looks like, whether it's in a business sense or a personal sense, be very careful that you don't pull a chair up for your enemy. And if you think you have, whether it is or not, as soon as that seed of doubt has been planted in your mind, you have to rectify it swiftly.
Spartan kick him off the table. Just
Yeah,
saying.
you have to. This is Sparta. Oh, I'm picturing it right now. It's friggin' boss ass.
Sprinkle a little Teresa Giudice, flip that table over.
Yeah, right? The enemy that plants seeds of doubt, the enemy that talks about other people, the enemy who talks about things that do not develop you, grow you, inspire you,
challenge you,
they are the enemy at your table. And get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're all adults. People evolve. People move on. You do not need to be nasty about it. You can be kind. You can be gracious. You can still have those people in a setting of, when I see you, hi, how are you doing? Right? Goes back to the front porch friend. They're not your back porch friend.
Kindness is different than fakeness. And business is different than a personal attack. And there's just some people that no matter how many times you show them that, they don't get it. It's the same people that will listen to this and be like, oh, they're fucking talking about me. No, we weren't. No, we didn't. Like, stop. You're internalizing all these things. It makes those people incapable of having a table that means shit because they're in their own way. If you have people at your table that you've invited and slid a chair up for, yet you are constantly questioning their intentions and they've done nothing to make you question their intentions, you the problem.
Right.
And I know we've talked about before, like, I can respect a bitch that's a bitch, right? If you're just mean and I know what I'm getting for you, you're mean and you're consistent, I can kind of respect it.
I can respect it if I'm learning and developing from you on the same way, right? Like, I'm not gonna accept it and I get nothing out of it. If you're like a bitch and you know she's kind of a bitch, but she's just the way that she is. But
she's
I learned
always
so
gonna
much.
call me out. She's always gonna be blunt.
She's always gonna push me.
Yeah.
100% I can do that.
It's the snake in the grass shit that I can't get with.
Yeah.
Right? If you're a bitch and you stay on bitch level all the time, and there's days that I do that, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Bitch power.
I mean, I'm a bitch power. If there's ever been one, it's me.
Yeah. And there's a good coin, there's a bad coin, right? There's like a mean-hearted, mean-spirited bitch, and then there's like a I'm going to push you to be your best bitch you can be because I'm your bitch kind of bitch. But the snake in the grass shit is what's not okay. When you have a seat at the table and you sit and you're telling me and everyone at the table to my face and, you know, my face, I want to see you succeed. I want to help you do this. I think it's wonderful you have a podcast. I think it's great you want to show. I'm so excited to see how your flip turns out. I'm going to believe that. I'm going to take you on your word. When I then have to hear that you turn around and maybe like, I don't like this. I don't like that. Can't believe they did this. They should embarrass themselves. Whatever it is. That's not what? What is that? If you feel away, say away. That's all.
So I think that your table should instill strength in you. And if you are worried about, I never get up from my table and worry about it talking about me.
And maybe that's blissfully being unaware, but I'm fucking fine with it.
Exactly.
I don't want to have to question my people.
So have you ever heard, I know we have, we don't have a problem unless we have a problem. If I don't know about the problem, we don't have a problem.
Yeah.
If I know about the problem,
we can have a problem.
we can have a problem. Right? So I'm all about knowing about the problem.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one to address it. We don't do text message. We do verbal communication. There will be no lines twisted on this. Don't make me record this conversation and bring it up later because I will. I 100% will be that person. Same thing goes in a professional setting. Don't sit at a table that you think are forward-thinking people and allow them to steal your vision, your wonder, your dream, your excitement. You're sitting at the wrong table of people if your growth and development is not challenging you, is not pushing you forward. You need to get up from that table, because guess what? There are people sitting at that table that have been there for a long time, and their seat is purely on the fact that they have been sitting at it for so long.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean it's the right table to be sitting at. It's not instilling enough growth. It's not instilling enough development. They are not forward thinking. They believe that social media is not what it is. We have those people that are around us. We have those people in our company that do not believe in social media. They think that it is worthless, and we have to sit at a different table than that.
It's okay to outgrow your table.
100%.
Your table should be
And I
changing.
love to speak about this in a professional manner, because I don't want people to think that that one table is the end all be all. There is a different table, and one day some of those people at that old table are going to get up and they're going to walk away, and they're going to want a seat at your table, because your table is instilling growth. Your table is forward thinking. Your table goes to sleep at night wondering how to change tomorrow. The old table sleeps at night soundly. And you know
Thinking the
why?
world's fine as it
Because
is.
nothing is keeping them awake at night to make them want more. Simple as
Could you
that.
imagine the sleep we'd get?
There's
were
never.
capable of
I
that?
go to sleep at night knowing that no one is against me, and if they are, I'm blissfully unaware about it. And if I find out about it, we got a problem.
It's okay to outgrow your table. Your feet are not cemented. It's okay to get up and do another table. If you, whether it's friendship, business, family, there's so many people that are like scared to get divorced because I don't want to date again. I'm going to do this and that again. So you're going to spend your whole life at a table that you're unhappy, and your kids see you be unhappy. That's ridiculous. I can't walk away from the table because I'd hurt that person's feelings.
I go to sleep at night, and the things that keep me awake at night are not the thoughts of what other people think about me. The things that keep me awake at night is, how can I make this vision better?
Yeah.
How can I help my friends grow bigger? How can I make Lynn just as, if not more successful than me? How can I help her in her dreams to be on this show? How can I make Courtney the best sales agent there is? How can I help Whitney focus in and hone in on wanting to become this amazing commercial agent? Like, whatever those things are, those are the things that keep me awake at night. How to help other women and men be more successful. If I get kept awake at night wondering what other people think about me, you better believe I got my alarm clock set and I'm ready to address it in the morning, because I will not lose another night's sleep over it.
I think I've just hit a point where like my side of the story doesn't matter. I'm not going to clear up rumors. My table is not questioning my motives and intentions. And the minute I feel that they are, I remove myself from that table.
And I think that it's okay to have open conversation, but your table has to bring it to you. If I were to bring something to you and be like, this is kind of making me feel this certain kind of way, and I don't need you to validate it or anything. I need you to walk through it with me, make me understand it. I know that you are willing to have that conversation with me because you value the relationship. But I think you also know that I value the relationship so much that I'm not going to let it
To bring it up.
I'm not going to dwell on it, right?
Well,
I'm
a
not
lot
going
of
to let it
times-
sit in my stomach and create animosity that shouldn't be there.
A lot of times it's like maybe whether someone's like reading a text message or even with your spouse, sometimes you're like, what is this mood you're in? They're like, I wasn't in a mood until you kept asking me I was in a mood. Like, you can perceive things in a way that are not actually happening around you. So you might lose a whole night of sleep and come to the table next day and be like, I need to talk about this. And I'm going to be like, you completely misunderstood it. This is what it actually was. And you're like, fuck, I lost a whole night of sleep over that.
Right.
Because you were in your head about it. So like there are things worth challenging. There's things worth bringing up and debating. And if it's healthy and the intentions are good, it's going to be in and out and done. And the
Right.
table moves on. But, you know, I think that Verna Meyer said it best. Diversity is being invited to the party. Inclusion is being asked to dance. But belonging is dancing like no one is watching. That's how you earn your seat at the table.
I love it.
And that's a wrap. If you like what you heard, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And as always, you can listen on Apple, Spotify, and more. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube for video podcast. We'll see you next week.